Yeah.
I'll bet
man,
him.
yeah, that's funny, man. Because I haven't sent you a picture. I go to my parents' house last evening because yesterday was my birthday, so grill out some. So I go up there, and every so often, my mom will do. A few months ago, she showed up. She pulls out of her purse one of those little tiny old timer pocket knives, and she's like, "You want this?" And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "This was my dad." And I was like, "Oh hell yeah, I want it." And her dad was just a very special. But I go with her yesterday, and she's like, "Hey, I know you love knives, and I had this in my dresser drawer. I thought maybe you could clean it up and maybe carry it." And she handed me this cool knife that her dad used to carry, and he used it, man, because the blade is all jacked up. But man, out of all the things that they could have given me for my birthday, that wasn't even intended to be a birthday gift.
That's
and
cool.
Man, it hit me in the feels, dude. I was like, because on top of everything else, he and I shared a birthday. I was born on his.
Yeah, by the way, everybody out there, sing happy birthday to Shiner. It was his birthday yesterday on February 27th. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I forget the rest of the words. Anyways.
Yeah, man, it was that was, man, of all the things that she could have given me, man, that is just, oh man, it just really stuck. He'd been on my mind a lot yesterday, and I was just like, everything happens for a reason.
It's funny you mentioned knives. My grandpa carried a Case brand, CASEs.
Oh yeah.
And it was given to me, and I put it away. I didn't even open it, didn't try anything. I put it away for a long time. And I got out of the military, they let me out. Anyways. And after college and all that mess, I started going through my stuff, and I see this knife. That's my grandpa's knife, and I go to open it up, and the main blade is a little bit bigger than a toothpick.
Really?
Yeah. He had this. Okay, you know my obsession with sharp knives.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Apparently, I get that from my grandfather.
Yeah, you've made that statement before.
Because he sharpened this knife so much that that you could literally pick your teeth with this one blade. Yeah. Yeah. And she said he used it to open up the mail. That's the only thing he used it for.
Do you still have it?
I do.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
I do. It's actually at the bank.
I don't have the knife my mother gave you. I don't have it with me, but I do have a picture of it. I just text you. And there's a name for that type of blade. I can't bring it to mind, but yeah, it is a cool.
It looks like an old carpet blade or something.
Yeah, that's what my dad was saying. You know, he was I don't know why he had that in his pocket all the time, but he never laid carpet for a job that I know of.
Wow.
But yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah, that's super cool. Yeah, mine's at the bank. That's we
got a safe deposit box.
Yes, sir. That's a treasure. You can drain my bank accounts. You can take everything I own. But some of the stuff that I have in that box, you'll never take.
Sentimental stuff. I mean, that's just it. You can't put it
worth way more than money.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm, of all things, I think some people get kind of surprised by that. I'm very sentimental. I got a lot of stuff, especially of my mom's father. I got a lot of stuff. Like I said, there's none that can ever replace.
No, my grandpa, when he was in his retired days, he whittled a lot, and it was really cool because he could take a 2x2 piece of pine, and maybe cut about a foot long, and on a 2x2, it's actually 1.5 by 1.5, and so he'd take that pine, and he could whittle a chain out of this wood, like links that were linked to each other. Yeah. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. He'd whittle a chain, a functioning chain that was unbroken. Just
think about that. At one point, he was sitting around with a 2x2 in his hand, and he was like, "I wonder if I can miss a chain," and started whittling and pulled it off of it. That's
by
pretty
God,
cool, man.
By God,
that's pretty cool.
I was just thinking, by God.
Do you have any of those left over?
No, I never got one. I don't know.
That's too bad, man.
I don't know if there's I think my Uncle Ron has a couple of them.
That's cool.
As long as somebody's got one, that's cool.
Is your Uncle Ron, is he the pilot?
Yeah, he's the pilot.
Now, okay, I meant to bring now that we got on this, that reminds me. I watched the movie American Made the other day. And you've seen it, right?
Well, see, my Uncle Ron was a pilot.
Was he involved in that deal?
Yeah, back in the 80s, he was involved with the DEA.
So was he part of Barry Seals and all that?
Well, I don't know, because he doesn't talk about it.
Well, that's funny because you've told me about him, and I watched that movie. And the weird thing about that movie is Barry Seals was doing all of that in Mena, Arkansas. Yeah. And my dad's mother is from Mena.
Mena's like right across the border from Oklahoma.
And it's just a little nothing town. Yeah. I mean, and Barry Seals, I mean, they were flying in Contras to train over there.
Yeah, on the fields. He'd bought like all this proper, well, he didn't buy it, but the government had it. And yeah, they were training Contra
freedom fighters.
But instead of him taking the weapons to the Contras, he would take the weapons to Colombia and then bring cocaine back.
Yeah. Yeah, from the Medellin cartel.
Yeah.
If you're listening, you have not watched the movie American Made, watch it for a piece of American history that will blow your mind. It is hilarious what they were pulling off there.
It's nuts. And all of this was going on about the time that I went in the military.
Oh, I was thinking when I was watching that movie, I was like, Titty had to be like going in or he was in around this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that story is absolutely unbelievable. I mean, it is crazy what they were.
Oh, and how nuts you have to be to fill your plane full of cocaine, and then get told, man, this is a short field. Is there a longer field? Can we get rid of some of this weight? No, you take it all.
No, you can't.
Oh, well, okay. So has anybody ever crashed leaving here? Yeah, all of them.
All of them.
Well, damn. But he was genius, man. He had that little spot in the bottom of the plane that he could drop the.
Oh, when he went over Louisiana?
Yeah, he could drop all that cocaine off, then just kind of pour bleach over everything.
I watched a documentary recently, the past couple of weeks, probably on Netflix. But the guy that made the documentary, he went down to Colombia, and I take that back. He went to Bolivia, and he went to a prison. Now, get this. This prison in Bolivia, if you're sentenced there, you don't wear an inmate uniform. You have to have a job. Your family comes and lives with you in the prison while you're sentenced there. Yeah, there's 5, I guess, cell blocks, and they're basically 1-star to 5-star, depending on how much money you make. But it's this whole little community, and they say the best cocaine in the world is in that prison. But during the course of that documentary, this guy sits down with George Young from Blow, the movie Blow.
Yeah.
And talks to him. That's an interesting character. I mean, good God, that would be a fun.
God, I can imagine so. Hearing all the stories of the shit that the U.S. actually did, now that a lot of this stuff is becoming public record.
Yeah.
Irma Gerd, people would roll over in their graves if they heard the stuff that went on overseas. And
well, not even just overseas, stuff that's happened here.
Well, yeah, true. Very true.
The CIA created the crack app. I mean, that's public record now. So, I mean, if they'll do that here, think about the stuff they're doing overseas, which I'm sure you've been privy to.
Well, I can't say that I know it all by no means. Everybody's got to keep their secrets, but my God, there's old farts out there right now holding secrets that are probably public record that they're going to go to their grave and not have told.
Yeah.
And it kind of sucks too, because there's some good stories in there. I mean, there's some really good stories. There's some funny shit in there. There's a bunch of good shit in there, and you can't tell anybody until it's public record. But nobody notified, like the Department of Defense doesn't come send you a letter saying, hey, it's okay, it's cool to talk about this now because it's public record.
You don't get a memo.
No. So either you find out.
I thought about that. There's some dudes taking some to the grave that would be great stories.
It'd be amazing stories. Amazing stories.
Those guys.
Yeah, and you take it to your grave. You become, keeper of the secrets, and you do. There's no temptation to tell it or anything like that. I mean, you mention certain things and you just go on. Tell me a little bit more about that. Well, sorry.
Yeah.
Can't.
I can tell you.
Right.
What? I don't want to know this.
Go find me a lawnmower blade and I'll get you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's definitely a secret part of our history that we keep touting. I mean, we've talked about it, but we're kind of throwing around the idea of putting together and some of those stories, I'm sure will surface when we do that episode.
We are going to do that, and a young a young lady who is very astute on conspiracy theories. Well, will just refer to her as Miss Stevens, is going to be on the podcast with us about that, because she is a conspiracy theorist. She spends a lot of her extra time just devoting and reading on conspiracy theories and doing research and that type of thing.
I'd like her to tell us what she knows about
right?
People that take the time to really read into talking about it makes you think, man.
I just want to know if there's a shrink ray out there. I saw that movie, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And
what would you do with the shrink ray, bro?
I would probably shrink. I'd put some I'd take some aluminum foil and put it around my penis, and I'd shrink me.
Up to what? To like 1/4 the size?
Yeah, but leave the wiener the same. Keep the aluminum foil on it so it doesn't get
throw the proportions all off.
Yeah, just
I'd shrink myself, because I've always said, if I was like 4 inches tall, like if I was full grown and 4 inches tall, I'd have it made, because I think the warmest place you were 4 inches tall, that would be.
You are absolutely correct. And the best part is, if you're 4 inches tall, that crumb from dinner, well, that's a handful of food. Right? So.
And then you get the chicks that have cleavage, food falls down in there a lot.
Yeah.
So you're going to be fed well.
Exactly. That's my whole point.
I'm telling you, man, that is the way to live life.
And if you got to pee, well, that's just sweat. It's no big deal. Pooping might be a big deal, but pooping, that's just she'll count that off as body odor.
I mean, everything's got its cons,
right.
Shit. But yeah, I've always said that, man. I've always been like, man, if I'm 4 inches tall, that I would live.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to be 4 inches tall. I could be 5 feet tall, maybe, but man, I don't know.
I want to be little, man.
You want to be little bitty.
Little bitty dude.
just like that chick's nipple is a saddle.
Well, and see, if you're 4 inches tall, by default, a female's going to think you're cute. Oh, you're cute. You look at this little cute guy. Like, hey, they pick you up, they have you in the palm of their hand, you're standing there. Like, well, hey, little guy, what do you want to do?
I want you to put me in your cleavage.
Well, they're going to do it because you're cute. I mean, you have life made, man. You just figured out the secret to life.
Well, now that we're going to get toward the end of the podcast here, you know how we tout for the greater good.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, definitely.
We try to promote a little positivity. Damn it, and but anyways, Tyson Fury won $9 million on this last bout.
Yeah,
and he's turning the prize over to help the homeless and drug addiction.
Now you're talking, when you say turning the prize over, he's donating all $9.
Yep, the entire check.
That might be the year best. That is just...
And I get it that people want to help people, but I mean, how many of you guys out there, everybody that listens to the podcast pretty much work. If you don't work and you listen to the podcast, then you're probably still doing something at home, take care of kids, whatever. But
which is a job.
Right. But has anybody thought about just handing over a 2-week paycheck to homeless or drug addiction?
Much less 9.
This is the guy's first fight in 9 months, and he hands the entire paycheck over.
Have you read the backstory on this?
No, I have not.
I guess after he fought that guy the first time, he had a bunch of emotional problems. He became suicidal. He became overweight. And he kind of what snapped him out of it was this fight. He decided to get back in shape, but through his struggles, he's never forgot that and how emotionally distraught he was and was at the time. And he vowed that if he ever had the opportunity, he would. Man, when I read what he was doing with that money, I had to read it a couple times. I couldn't believe it. That is stand up to another level, dude.
There's a lot of money, but more so than anything, just a gesture of paying back for him. Coming from having some mental issues and coming back from to be a winner again. It's pretty freaking epic because I